Hey, how you doing? I wanted to put together a little video for you. Suddenly, I have an opinion. I have an opinion on things. I think that's why I felt motivated to make this video. Get it over to you. How you doing? I'm gonna make this one up on you. I'm gonna put this one up on YouTube. So we'll see. It's tense ground over on YouTube, but I gotta get something on here. I don't want to just do old re-uploads. I put one up yesterday, so if you haven't seen that yet, that's if your energy as a parent runs out. But yeah, suddenly I've got an opinion, so I'm going to chime in. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to preface this too much. I just want to kind of dive into what is being said. This is from Eric Orwell, something like this. I guess Eric Orwell would be the guy who wrote 1984. I think his name is Eric. I saw he's doing this return to the land thing. So, hey, are you white? Hey, you want to live in a covenant community of sorts? You want to buy into some kind of membership fee or something so you can live on land with other white people? That's what he's doing. So that's kind of interesting. That sprang up, oh gosh, I think under Biden, toward the end of Biden. So yeah, people are looking for solutions, right? People are presented with a problem and people want solutions, and that is a lot of the interplay on this stuff. You know, it shouldn't be any surprise for anyone where I'm coming from these days. I'm coming from a peaceful parenting Bitcoin standpoint, so that's a little different than returning to the land, or as we'll get into here, the America First thing of infiltrating. But I want to look at what he wrote here. I thought it was interesting. He's been springing up on my timeline lately. I don't follow him. I don't know. I'm not sold on the return of the land thing. So I'm also not sold on Platonism. I think he's a Platonic guy. So if the Groypers do infiltrate and influence government, that's great. Why is that great? But there will be no mass. I want to know from him, right? But there will be no mass deportations making the country supermajority white again, even then. Why? Why not? I don't know if they got in, right? isn't that what they're going to do? So why are you just saying that they're not going to do that? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I've lost something. Maybe I don't know what they're going to do. So, but last I heard, they were going to do some mass deportations. So Nick has acknowledged, this is Nick Fuentes, one Mr. Nick Fuentes, has acknowledged that demographic change is baked into the cake. But if you do mass deportations, then it's not, right? When did he acknowledge this? I remember acknowledging him saying this like 4 or 5 years ago. Acknowledge, interesting, that whites will become a minority and that deporting most non-whites in the foreseeable future is impossible. Why? Why? I don't understand. If the Trump people, this is just plain empiricism, right? I need to pump this up a little bit. I'm sitting a little low there. That's better. If the Trump people were actually like all the glitz and glamour, right? All this media coverage, making them look like they're deporting tons of people, and this is the backlash. What if they actually were deporting that many people? Would the backlash be any greater? That's what I'm wondering about. Okay, that's what I'm wondering about. That means the best that can be hoped for through infiltrating the government is removing anti-white policies and protecting pro-white groups. Okay, that's the best. That's pretty solid, right? Okay, infiltrating the government cannot in itself give your children white neighborhoods to grow up in. Why not? I guess the children that are alive now. This is a Groyper thing. So the Zoomers are all young, right? That's where return to the land comes in. And this whole thing, but it's still not peaceful parenting, you know? That's why this whole thing, they're like, well, because what if you're the odd, semi-odd person that's not born white and you have similar values, right? As white values. Is this too spicy for YouTube? Then you have an immutable thing that gets in the way of you being around people that share your values. So this is why I think about peaceful parenting, and yeah, I don't know, that gets into tricky ground. It's YouTube. I'm not so sure that I can really say a lot of things here. So, okay, preserving white communities for future generations is a whole point of being a white identitarian. Yeah, is that it? Preserving white identitarian. And right now, RTTL is the largest organization actively making progress on that front. Yeah. I don't know. Preserving white communities. That's tricky. What about what about Bitcoin? Bitcoin doesn't square with this, right? But why bother going to the woods to farm chickens? The point isn't being rural or doing agriculture. RTTL is making progress on suburban style neighborhoods as well. The point is having actual living white communities where white Americans are born and raised. If you don't see the point in that, you've lost the plot. Well, that's just what they're doing. I don't know why Nick and the Groypers need to be pulled into this. I don't know. I don't understand that piece. And then at this point, it is kind of just going in the woods, right? And it is right now, as it appears to me anyway, it looks like a form of downward mobility. And it's also jumping to a conclusion, I think. Is that a very negative thing I just said? Highly contentious thing I've just said. Can't you just sit with the uncertainty of demographic change for a while? I mean, people don't want to, right? So, but if people want to self-organize, I'm not opposed to that, right? I'm not saying I'm opposed to them self-organizing. I think that's where people would lose the plot on me. Additionally, changing laws requires setting legal precedent. Man, I can feel just how censored I am censoring myself on YouTube. There's just so much I came into this video wanting to say. And now that I've hit record, it's like, man, is YouTube just going to do what they do? So, okay. Additionally, changing laws requires setting legal precedent which requires real life scenarios. Yeah, but you don't have to be concerned with that, with them changing the laws. I know a lot of people are like very concerned with that, but the left doesn't worry about that, right? Or they get really activists and they get in there and they just chant until things change, right? If everyone is worried about influencing government to help the white community, but no one sees the point of actually building white communities, then there won't be legal cases to establish precedent in the first place. You're not going to pass laws protecting white communities if there are no white communities to protect. I don't know. It just seems like solipsistic, just self-referential. Like it's like a Ouroboros snake. I don't know what's all the point of this. I don't even know what the point of this is. This post just kind of confuses me. I'm just too stupid to understand. I'm just too pea-brained to understand this post. My goodness. I don't know why do you got to do that? I don't understand. I'm not opposed to you doing that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, don't you give up some advantage organizing around white communities? Right, because you're lumped in, right? This is, I think, the thing. One of the things I mentioned before behind my paywall. But it's this idea of like, well, some of these people that are pro-white are just not. They're not very friendly. They're not very friendly. Let's just say that. They're kind of ornery, you know. And also, if white is the organizing principle, instead of an actual principle, right? It's just like an immutable characteristic. If white is the organizing principle, then you have to let those people in, right? I heard Mr. Airville went up to Idaho and he was telling people he was telling Christians that they had to lump into the same neighborhood with pagans. And I don't know if you know anything about these pagans, but these pagans are something else, man. They're on a different vibe, let's just say, from white Christians. So, yeah, so white is the organizing principle. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not everything. And to rearrange your whole life, right? To rearrange your whole life, like, well, I'm going to live in some covenant community or some like a renters association or something with other white people. Yeah, you do got to wonder. I mean, this thing is organized in Arkansas, and Arkansas, by like every economic metric, has the lowest outcomes besides Louisiana and Mississippi in the entire country. So, you know, there's a low barrier to entry. And I think it works for millennials. I'm not like, I'm not sort of snorting my nose down at people or turn my nose up at the idea that someone would have not so much money as a millennial. But that does mean that some of these rough, shady characters will get in there. You know, these pagans, right? These bloodlust pagans. And so that's something I have some concern about, right? what do you do here? Because also this idea of people really push back on this. The Platonists really are very angry about this. They say, oh, well, you're looking at things through the lens of the economic man. And how dare you? That is wrong. Why? Because it's not ennobling to the white soul. It's like, it's just total like Platonist world, just lost in abstraction gobbledygook, right? Okay, but let's just look at human praxeology. Let's just look at economics. You're gonna give up your downward mobility, like live in the woods, to raise chickens. You're gonna live in the woods of somewhere to raise chickens. I don't know about this, man. I'm kind of a go toward the fire kind of guy. Like, hey, Errol, hey, I'm calling you out, bro. Where were you? Where were you for Stop the Steal? I'm a bit of a run toward the fire kind of guy. Hey, you were old enough to be around for Stop the Steal. What were you up to in 2020, 2021? Where were you? I'm a bit of a run toward the fire guy. Like, there's no doubt that no doubt that Europe is like having Europeans are like having a tough time or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Shouldn't we get more influence? That's something I think about. But for me, the idea, I don't know, of getting into government, I just don't want to work for government. I think it's a lot of the problem. And everyone that I've seen do that just kind of loses themselves. They just get kind of soft and paunchy. They get self-satisfied. They get self justifying, and it just weirds me out. I mean, leaving aside the principles, right? Just the idea that it's an immoral thing, but just looking at the effects. Anyway, I don't know about that either. But I am one of these like, let's do something about. If we don't like something, then let's do something about it. And he would say, okay, well, we are doing something about it, Franssen. But I just wonder, like, I was making money 4 or 5 years ago because I wanted to do something about it. I don't see how moving to Arkansas or moving wherever, like I guess the new place is maybe Coeur d'Alene. There's more job opportunities there, but the land's all bought out. I mean, you could buy like a mountainside 20 acres for like 400 grand 4 years ago. I mean, you couldn't buy much. It's pretty bought out up there. So this idea of like, it's like a new family too. It's like there's some problem. So we can't deal with the uncertainty of just living with the problem and just accumulating money and influence. We need to be together. I don't know. I don't want to be with some of these people. It just seems kind of like low. Like, yeah, go raise chickens in the farm, in the wherever, and it's better than nothing. But I mean, the institutions. I don't know. I don't know even that I care about the institutions, honestly. I'm not totally against what Ervol's saying. I think that if you can generate some love and some virtue by being around people who share your values, but that's exactly the kicker. It's like it's not for sharing values. Like if Ervol, I'm talking to you straight, man. If you were doing a peaceful parenting community, my eyebrows would be raised for that. I'd be interested in that. And even then, I don't know, man, because people just come up where they come up. And so to uproot, I mean, that smashes a lot of things to bits. I've done it. I've uprooted a lot as an adult, and it just kind of smashes things to bits. And it can, if you don't, if you don't run things through the internet, like it can really cut you off from some opportunities, and it does anyway. So so who benefits the most in this return to land thing? I think it's Eric. And maybe people there feel that they're getting a value for value exchange, but I don't know. I would rather live with the uncertainty. This is why this idea, now people are going to be very upset at what I say here, but this idea of not being willing to live with the uncertainty and just rushing into the government, I also think that's a way of getting an easy answer. And well, it's going to be done irrespective, but it's not like the government maintains perfect legitimacy forever. Like people 40 years from now, after the people on the right wing have done their march to the institutions, like it's going to have the same exact legitimacy that it did 15 years ago when everyone's minds were gooped from CNN. It's a different time now. I mean, the social contract broke with COVID, and people are disengaging, and doctors have lost all their credibility. They were like good little goose-stepping commies during COVID. And people notice these things, right? And it's not lost on people. And there are a lot of people in America that have a similar attitude as me. I'm not the only one. And so, yeah, whether it'll be effective, like that's, I think the piece I'm kind of curious about, right? I'm not like, don't do that, but I'm not going to do it. And I think the best prescription I can give for people is to peacefully parent and to get people that would use the state against you out of your life. And you'd be surprised, right? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what people want to use the state against you for. And it's not just wild stuff way out on the spectrum. There are people that want to use the state against me for advocating for peaceful parenting. Yeah. So what am I going to do? I'm going to like rush to the state to like outdo them or something, right? No matter your opinion, right? There could be people that want to use the state against me for being pro Bitcoin. And then what, right? Then I got to rush into the state and I got to seize power, the dwindling power, right? Because power is further and further delegitimatized, both on the right and on the left, right? The right's more because of minarchism and such, and then the left because they're all angry about Gaza, and they're all angry because the climate is going to hell, but it's largely because of Indians and China. It's India and China, right? That if you look at net pollution, so. But they're very upset over the left. So there's a lot of deconstruction also that has happened of power, and I think it's an interesting thing to contend with. And so the idea that you just assert it because you've asserted it and it's a will to power that it's going to work, that's really dependent on you convincing people of that. And so, but I look at this return to land thing, and well, it's just a smattering of my thoughts anyway. I think it is interesting because it is an intentional community in a way, but if pagans are in, then like what? I don't know. the pagans are pretty surly people. They're pretty nasty. They engage with insults first. And I don't know, grouping up with people that engage with insults first, that's not really my deal. I want to be grouped up with competent people that earn at a high level. And those people are curiosity first. And so if I were to be in some kind of community or some sort of ploy to save the white people, I would probably look at something like that. But I don't think that really exists. So people don't want to live with the uncertainty that we have to do something. We just have to do something. But the pendulum is swinging the other way, and things are becoming more sane again. And a lot has been exposed in the last 5 years. A lot of people their eyes have been opened, and they're seeing things in a new way. And they're less addicted to violence, because violence will take us right off the cliff. So that's a smattering of my thoughts. I think I'll save the spicier stuff for Rumble, for BitChute. I appreciate you being here with me on YouTube. I wanted to get something up, and I wanted to get something that would get eyes on it, right? This is a controversial topic. I think Nick's response to Orval, it works. I'm sure it's like some Norwegian thing or something. I think Nick's response would probably be something like, well, get fucked. Oh, should I cuss? Oh, shoot, it's YouTube. I probably shouldn't cuss here. Excuse me. He would say something like, yeah, well, it sucks to be you, or something like that. And so, I don't know. There's not really a debate. It's everybody's just kind of like, hey, you can join my thing, you do my thing. And that can be very compelling for people, especially when there's a lot of uncertainty. So a good way to deal with uncertainty is just like get in with other people that are really certain. So, all right, well, that's it for me. That's it on YouTube. I cussed. I touched politics. I'm tense. Do we lose the channel? I don't know. See ya.